Okay, so to continue, also I should mention though, if you did have a parallel circuit, but the switch was on the main line, you would still then be in control of the, why is my circle not going? You'd be in control of the entire thing, okay? But typically, when you're dealing with parallel circuits, you would want the switch to be on that single path. That way you can have control over that pathway. Okay, so just to compare the schematic diagrams between series and parallel, we've been seeing these a bunch. I mean, of course, I've just been drawing a bunch of them between this lesson and the last lesson. So parallel circuits is really how pretty much how everything is wired in terms of homes and schools and stores. You know, you want to turn on something, but you don't, let's say you want to turn on a hair dryer. You don't want to turn on the switch for your hair dryer and have the entire house, the stove turns on and your laptop turns on, everything turns on at one time. That's not the purpose, right? We want to turn individual things on and off. Okay, so as a safety point of view, right, we have fuses and circuit breakers, which are the safety mechanisms that will basically control how much current is running through different wires. But in terms of we want control, we want to be able to control. So for example, in this schematic, this is actually defeats the purpose of having parallel because this would turn off the whole thing. You would want a switch to be either on the individual lines. Okay, so series circuits actually don't have much use in like the real world because like we said, we don't want everything to turn on or off. So really the only thing that's kind of in real life that you would come across a series circuit would be with Christmas tree lights. So sometimes if let's say you have a string of bulbs, right? You have a bunch of bulbs. If one of them goes out, sometimes the whole string will go out. But actually some of the newer, let's say you have a new tree with new light bulbs, a lot of the newer bulbs are actually controlled one bulb at a time. So they're like little mini parallel circuits. So that might not actually even be the case anymore for more of the newer things. Okay, so that's series versus parallel. So we're going to look at in the next part a combination circuit, just to preview this for you. So meaning you may have some items that are in series and some that are parallel. So for example, this first, let's say we call this 1, 2, 3, and 4. So number 1 is in series, but number 2 and 3, 4 are parallel, but 3 and 4 are also in series. They're on the same row because they're on the same pathway. So this line and this line are parallel to each other, but you have series within it and you have series with the battery. So that's obviously taking this up a notch. So it's very important that you make sure you have series and parallel down before we begin the next section of this course.